I think of a lot of it comes down to you have a very rigorous approach. I guess what I'm getting at is you've solved the same problem over and over, namely due diligence. So, and then
Mm.
you're able to help other people solve the same problem because you've laid out a very helpful way to do due diligence. So, can you define due diligence for us and then walk us through why it's so important when it comes to buying a business?
Yeah. So due diligence is just like, I didn't know what due diligence was when I first started. I found out what due diligence is at, in the beginning. And I was like, oh, it's basically just research, like researching an investment. Yeah. So you need to get all the information on the investment. And that's just that raw data. And then you need to make an assessment on what are the risks, what are the growth opportunities, and is this something that somebody is willing to take on? And why is that so important? Is because you could invest in something that might not be right for you. You might not have the skills to run. It could be an investment that is subject to risk from external environments that you just don't know about because you're not conscious of it, right? It could be like buying a business with cancer. If you don't go away and give it the good checkup and the full overall, then you don't know like what its problems are. That's why it's so important, is so people don't go away and buy a dud business. And we've had people on the podcast that have not had our help doing due diligence and bought a lemon. Not to say that our help is like the be all and end all, but they just haven't had the education on like what to look out for and what are the common traps. So that's why I believe due diligence is so important, is like it's best to buy a good business at a fair price and a fair business at a good price, which is a Warren Buffett quote. Because sometimes people want to just rush in to buy a business and they see there's so much opportunity in this, and they go away and buy it. But that opportunity is also risk. And when you have too much risk, you've got so much to do to be able to take advantage of that and turn it into an opportunity in a time period where the external environments like Google or Facebook or whatever might change their algorithms, and you haven't yet got to that potential opportunity. So how much risk do you actually take on is an important factor too.
You have due diligence. There's the logic to it. There's the step-by-step way of evaluating a business. My question is, what do you see, not the logic of the due diligence, but what emotionally or what character trait do you see trip up people when it comes to due diligence? Not that they don't not a knowledge deficiency, but what character trait can trip
Yeah.
people up when it comes to due diligence, doing proper due diligence?
Emotions. And this is why I'm so big on people learning EQ, so emotional intelligence. There's lots of books on emotional intelligence, EQ. Look them up, guys. One of which is like almost most members that join the Bob community, they read "The Obstacle Is the Way" by Ryan Holiday, which is a really good book, and had helped me with my emotional intelligence. And most, like we've heard this before, most people buy things why based on emotion, right? And usually it's the emotion that I want to get out of my job. Like that's a huge emotion to try and neglect or not have so much energy behind it. And then also there's the emotion of like the FOMO, which is where investors get tripped up as well, is that somebody else is going to buy this if I don't get onto this right now, and they can put the blinkers on and not see so many of the things that are the risks. They might see the risks, but they don't understand the full gravity of them. That's where people get tripped up, is they become emotional about a deal, or emotional that I've been doing this for X amount of time and they haven't bought a business, so I just need to make any business work, or I need to make it happen. That's where people trip up, is where they become emotional.